Hi guys, so today we're exploring a particularly interesting topic where we are still using SARS intermediate, but we're not gonna be doing poor solutions, and it's like you're transitioning from SARS intermediate to advanced without actually learning advanced, just because of these few tips I give you that will really up your game. So to start off, if you don't know how to do these peanut cases from different angles, like this peanut case right here, I can do it from here like that, or I can do it from here like this. If you don't know how to do that, I have a video on it. I have linked it in the description. There's also a lot of finger tricks on there, so do watch that if you haven't. uh, but apart from that, after you learn that version of SARS Intermediate, because I think it's like crucial for anybody learning SARS Intermediate to learn it that way rather than this way. It does take slightly longer to kind of absorb. So if you have like a comp coming up just in 3 days, maybe learning that might not be the best go, but it is better and more fun, and it obviously is a lot faster. So that's definitely something worth checking out. It is a really good tutorial. I think it's pretty underrated, and so have fun if you're going to go check it out. But apart from that, some interesting things you can still learn in SARS Intermediate are hedge edge perm cancels. So edge perm cancels are very essential. There's so many solvers that use SARS Intermediate that know this, and it's almost kind of a part of SARS Intermediate now. Like, people don't teach it in SARS Intermediate tutorials, but a lot of people know it. So to start off, when you have a sledge or uh, a case, and the opposite centers on your sides, like as you can see here, this and this are both salt beside your sledge block or a hedge block. You can actually, rather than you actually know you're gonna get an edge perm, and even on top of that, you can actually cancel and get a two sledge case. So if you have a hedge, you can rotate to the back and do hedge. Imagine this was the hedge block, so you do a hedge here, and then you solve the case like normal. Or another great way to think about it is that this is your parity alg, and then you rotate here and then do this. Another great way to think about it is just as an like a very alg straightforward format. A hedge here, that means you do a hedge here, then you do the, if you did a hedge here, you go do a sledge here. If you have a sledge here, so sledge. If you did a sledge here, hedge here, right? And as you get to know that, you now will always skip edge perms. So edge perms, you would be getting skips. Next up, for Z perms, it is also essential. Oops, sorry. So for Z perms, well, as you head into Z perms, it is also essential to kind of know you're heading into Z perms. So now this part of the tutorial will be covering how to actually know what side you're going into. But before we do that, one very basic thing you should definitely be doing, I forget to mention this at times, it's just be color neutral. I mean, look, I'm doing blue right now, and it shouldn't be a problem for you to do blue, nor should it be a problem for you to say do green, and like, solve your cube like that without even the slightest effect in your time, because cube is a puzzle where naturally you almost have to be color neutral. So that is really important. But to start off, we are going to be predicting edge perm, what case we get after this, and we can basically have two cases here, right? U-perms or Z-perms. But more on top of that, when we have a U-perm, we can predict where our U-perms gonna be in most of the cases. I mean, if you want to just look at the cube, you can predict the full thing with this method, but when you're going fast, maybe not always. So to know, first of all, if you're going into a U-perm or a Z-perm, I'll actually set up a U-perm and a Z-perm and give you a few seconds to notice a difference. So as you can see here, this one goes into a Z-perm, this one doesn't, which basically means it goes into a U-perm, as you can see. Now, the way you know that is there's an opposite center beside it, while here there's no opposite center. Now, this doesn't mean there is supposed to be an opposite center in the like headlights area. This just means, hey, you can have one here. You can actually even have a solid center like here or in the headlights, right? But basically what this means is in one of these two, right, either you should have a solve or or an opposite center, right? And that's very good to know, because what hedges basically do is, let me just solve this real quick. Okay, so what hedges basically do is swap these two centers and swap these two centers. Or let me just show you that in centers, swap these two, right, and these two. As you can probably see, it is the same, right? Now, how we know here we're gonna end up with H-perm is because this goes here, which means it's solved, and basically we know this isn't an H-perm or a skip because we just looked at a skip, right? And that just tells us that, oh, we are gonna get a U-perm, right? Now, the way you can absolutely know if it's not a skip, so a skip is two opposite centers, okay? And then H-perm is two solved centers. This is one solved or opposite center, right? If there's a solved center on the opposite side, there's going to be if there's an opposite center on the opposite side, there's going to be a solved center. Like here, as I solve this, see, solved centers. Now here, if there's a solved side on the opposite side, there's going to be a opposite center. That was a little bit confusing to say, but in general, the concept is really easy. And obviously, now you know that if there is no opposite or solved center like here, you're gonna go into a Z-perm. And if you don't know a Z-perm alg already, or if you don't want to learn one because you don't want to learn more algs, well, I can teach you one that is just ledges, and I can teach you how to finger trick it. So I have a few videos on those, on finger tricking and the Z-perm. But basically, if you have a Z-perm like this, you can actually bring this over like this, 2-3 sledges, and cancel that move. And you can finger trick it like this, or you can finger trick it like this, or you can finger trick it like this. Basically, a lot of ways how you can finger trick this. So I do have a video on that, again linked in description. One video is also on how to do infinite pledges. Basically, that just helps me to do 3 pledges in this case. But apart from that, it isn't that useful yet for you guys. But if you do want to learn that out, that is in the description. Now, next up, something really important that a lot of solvers just simply should follow as a rule is when you're doing one of these cases, try avoiding solving on opposite centers. Like this is an opposite center and you're starting off on top of here. While here, if you start on top of an adjacent center or just basically a non-solved or a non-opposite center, you are a lot more likely to land into an H-perm, and you basically almost always kind of cancel out your chances of getting a Z perm unless you have a case like this where there's no opposite centers, where I think there are a few possible. Actually, there isn't. So yeah, you basically do kind of skip getting Z perms and you always get U perms, which basically is the full goal of CERT's advanced in these cases. So that these 10 minutes basically put you on that level for these cases, and a lot more stuff with skips, predicting. And to end this video off, I'm going to give you something really light, really easy. For this case right here, when your U center is on top, 2 sledges, nothing gets affected, right? That means if I have a U perm, I can actually predict where my U perm is going to be. As you can see, I do that and head straight into my U perm, right? And the best part about this case right here is you can actually very easily see why it doesn't affect centers. So if you guys remember, I just told you about what a sledge does to the centers a while back, but basically it does this, right? So this is 1 swap, 2 swap, but think about this, right? Now I'll try to show you this in a visualized way. This is a good logo cube. This is a bad logo cube, old cube, right? Now I swap it once, they're different. I swap it again, and 2 swaps just mean they become the same old thing, right? 2 swaps, same old thing. 2 swaps, same old thing. That's what happens here, right? You have 2 swaps. You're doing this swap, and then you do it again, like swap, and then you swap it again. Why do you kind of swap it again? Because you're doing 2 sledges. 1 sledge swaps these 2, now another sledge swaps them again back to their normal stall positions. So that's pretty much it. I have a video on how to set up your GANs cube if you have a GANs cube. I do genuinely still recommend watching the video on how to be sub 6 if you haven't already, and you actually, I did recommend you to do so, because like I'm not just trying to like self promo or something. It really, in my belief, is a good video that can actually help you. But that's it for today. Thank you.